Good morning, everyone. Today I want to share with you my top 10 interview tips that's really going to help you to grow your profile. Although doing interviews is a great thing to build brand awareness and to grow your profile and your networks, we always have to remember that it is all about the viewer and our audience and what value is it that we are giving in that interview. So over the last 10 years, I have been doing lots of interviews. Hello, Christina. Thank you for joining us. When I first started my web TV show back in 2010, I created a panel of experts and they delivered video content which I distributed across all of the platforms to grow Toddlers to Teens TV. Now, I was the host and producer of that show, not an expert in anything at that stage. So I thought, well, I need to be on camera too. I can't just hide behind the lens. Hi, Karen. Thank you for joining us. So I decided to start interviewing mums in business, and I did a heap of interviews for Mums in Business Australia, and we'll be starting up Mums in Business TV again because I'm very passionate about sharing our stories why we got into business, because at the end of the day, people buy you and the outcome, of course, that you or the transformation that you deliver, but they buy from you because they know, like, and trust you, and that really helps people to get to know you when you share your story, and it's a great thing to do over an interview. So I've got a couple of questions here that I've had sent in, but I've also got my top 10 tips that I want to share with you. But along the way, if you feel that you have got a question coming up for you, just put it in the comments below. If I don't get to it during the live, I will come back and answer it for you. So Marguerite McMahon is a travel agent. She takes people on food, wine and culture tours to Israel and Jerusalem. And she's asked me a question. And she said, is it best to send questions into your guest before the interview interview? Hello, Sarah. Thank you for joining us. So there's two things here, and people will have different opinions. This is just my opinion and my experience. So I've been interviewed many times where I haven't been sent any questions and I didn't have a clue what they were going to ask me. And, sometimes, I've been interviewed by radio and journalists and things like that, and they love to throw in a question that's going to surprise you. And you've got no idea, you haven't rehearsed it. They want to know that you haven't rehearsed this answer and it's going to come across as an authentic answer. But that's okay, depending on, why you're doing the interview and who it's for. But I prefer to send my questions in to my guest. And I prefer to get to know my guest before I interview them as well. So if you can't meet them personally, hello, Em, because they're a top industry leader and they're very busy, and you've got a waiting list or whatever, that they often get interviewed a lot. Start building a relationship with them first. And that's how I've got many of my guest speakers for my events that I've run over the past 6 years. So start building that relationship by joining their newsletter, liking their business page, commenting, engaging on their content. Sharing their content will always get you noticed above everybody else. Obviously, if it's relevant to your audience, or, well, if we're sharing it on our personal profile, you just never know who might get value out of it. Hello, beautiful. If you've got any questions about interviews, put them in the comments because I'll try and get through them during this live. If not, I will get back to you. So I tend to send my questions in to my guests, and I also ask them to answer the questions. Now, this is not so that they can rehearse them, know them off by heart, and, recall them word for word. It is more to get them into flow, but more for me as the interviewer to know what it is they're going to answer, because I have been on live interviews. I'm not talking about social media, TV. And when I interviewed my guest, they lost their train of thought. Now, I had a feeling that this was going to happen because they weren't used to being in front of the camera. And so I had already got the answers, and I had not memorized them, but I knew what her answers were. So when she lost her train of thought because of nerves, I got her back on track, and I said, well, take me back to this time, or I remember a time, when you did this, or can you remember a time when you did this? Or I remember you telling me about this once before. Can you tell our viewers? That sort of thing. So it's perfectly okay to send your questions into your guests, to put them at ease, and to ask them to give you, in short form, the answers to the questions, just so you feel fully prepared for the interview. It doesn't mean it's going to be scripted and stiff and robotic, although when we're first starting out on video, we can often come across like that. So my tip for you is to, and I'm not saying this in any particular order, but I always tell the people in my 30-day video challenge, hello Coral, thank you for joining us. Start a video test group on Facebook, okay? Invite your guests into that video test group. Hello Marsha, if you've got any questions in regards to interviews, put them in the comments, please. And if you've got a business, I don't mind you sharing it in the comments as well, because you just never know who's watching and needs your help. So start that video test group, and that way you can invite people into that group and start practicing your interviews. So whether you're doing a Facebook Live, obviously that's what it's good for, or you're trying out some softwares, which I will be sharing with you, my top tips. So just to answer that question, Marguerite, yes, it's perfectly okay to send those questions in. I also ask, are there anything off limits that I'm not allowed to ask, especially if people are sharing their stories. You might know some information about them, but just because they told you doesn't mean they want to share that with you. So, yes, you've got an amazing story, Marsha. I'd love to interview you for Mums in Business TV. You'd have to hook up with me for that interview. So, the other thing is, in that video test group, you can share, you can work out all the technology, where to press, where to look, testing your microphones. Even now today, I often go into that video test group and I will do a test with my guests before I go live on my page. Now, I'm not saying all interviews have to be Facebook Lives, but it's something that's quite popular. A lot of people are saying, how long should videos be? Some people say, I won't watch it if it's longer than a minute. Obviously, we're not going to do an interview in a minute. Facebook Lives are great to do interviews, but then I would probably either pull it down, or I would get the interview, download it, upload it to YouTube and embed it into my website. Then you can splice the interview into 1-minute snippets that you could share on Instagram, or into your Facebook stories or Instagram stories, or into Facebook groups that you're allowed to promote your business, and give a link to your website to watch the whole video. Now, if you are doing that, you want to make sure that if you're doing it on your mobile phone, for instance, which I tend to do most things on my mobile phone, make sure that your phone is on landscape so that you get the nice, side-by-side look. Because if you're doing it on portrait, you've got you in the portrait mode and this tiny little picture of your guest. And that's not really ideal, because you're there to promote your guest, and you're there to put them in the spotlight and highlight them. So it's important to, number one, these are my tips if you want to get a pen and paper, my top 10 interview tips. Get to know your guest. So as I said, if it's a top industry leader, go and engage with them, read their blogs, read their websites. If they've got a book, buy the book. Hello, Rosalind, my beautiful client. I've just been reading her book. Rosalind's an expert in codependency, and she's written a book, Emotional Sobriety, which is all about our codependent habits that are actually, literally killing some people. It's an amazing book. I'll be interviewing her shortly about her business and what she does. So you want to really get to know them. Go to their LinkedIn profile, read their bios, go to their website, their About Me page, look at some testimonials, read them, read their Facebook reviews, their Google reviews. And as I said, if you can, get on the phone and have a chat with them, get to know them, or get on a Skype or a Zoom call and get to know them, so that you just feel a little bit more comfortable and at ease. And as I said, you might not be able to do this with a top influencer, but if you don't ask, it won't happen. And don't be afraid to go and ask hello, Rosalind. Hello, Marguerite. Thank you for joining us. I gave you a shout out and answered your question right at the start, so you might have to watch the replay. Don't be afraid to go after top industry leaders and ask them to be interviewed, because if you don't ask, you don't get. I was at Gary Vee on last week in Brisbane, and somebody got up and asked Gary if she could interview him for his podcast. And I just went, wow, that's amazing. He said yes, without even knowing who she is, how many followers she's got or anything. Whether she gets through to the gatekeeper or not is another thing, but at least she asked. And, you know, I've had some really high profile people come and speak at my events and be, featured in my online magazine because I asked. So, as I said, try and build that relationship first and then maybe you'll get noticed. So number one was get to know your interviewees. Number 2 was compile a list of, say, 3 to 5 questions. Interview times 15 to 30 minutes. Podcasts are generally around that long. Sometimes they might go a bit longer if they're sort of like a teaching podcast. But our attention span is 7 minutes. That is why TV shows go for 7 minutes, then they go to an ad break. Now, we can't really do this on Facebook Live, although after 7 minutes we could get up and do a little bit of a song and dance. Or we could slide across, I'm sure, the video ads. Well, they're already popping in now, aren't they, on people who are doing really high quality videos. Broadcasters are now advertising on your videos, whether you like it or not. You now need to have 10,000 followers on Facebook to do that, and you need 30,000 consecutive views to have that, and obviously have high quality videos. And I hope, I'm not sure about this, but I hope that you do get to choose who would be advertising on your videos, because I certainly don't want KFC or fast foods or things that aren't my values, advertising on Mums in Business TV while I'm doing interviews with mums in business. Hello, Priya. Thank you for joining us. So really, we need to get comfortable in front of the camera, and doing interviews is a great way for us to do this. With Mums in Business TV coming up, we will be turning that Facebook page, Mums in Business Australia Facebook page, basically into a TV channel, and I'll be interviewing mums in business as well as having our experts also sharing their knowledge and expertise via video, because it's not for everybody. But I'll tell you a little fact. We remember 95% of what we take in from a video as opposed to text. So I know some people learn, through audio, some people learn visually, and some people learn text. If you're doing video to start with, you can extract all of those things with a transcription and an interview. So with the audio as well. So Marsha's just asked me, asking your interviewee what they would like to talk about to get the best interview. Absolutely. The interview is not about you. It's about your guest, but also about your audience, which I said before. So I always ask, what is something that you really want to get across in the interview? If you've got an event coming up, or you've got a book that you've written, or you've got a webinar coming up, or anything, or you want to give a gift. I love giving gifts. I always give gifts when I speak. I've got a gift for you at the end of this. And I try to give gifts rather than sell people stuff, because they're just getting to know you. And I think it's a nice way to attract people to come and watch your show, knowing that every video that you do or every interview that you do, your guest is going to be giving a gift. So if you're going to be interviewed by me, I would suggest you have a gift ready that they can go and click on and grab from your website to start building your email list. So get all these things ready, because when you're ready, these opportunities will present themselves to you when you're ready. It's all great and well to do an interview and say, go to my website, but you've got to give them a reason to go to your website. So have that little gift ready. It can be an audio, it can be a video, it can be, a free report, or your top 10 tips like I'm doing right now. Good girl, Rosalind. When you are ready and you show up, the universe will create those opportunities. So yeah, I think I did say number 3, send your interview questions through to your guest and ask them if there's anything off limits. There's some sensitive topics, people might not want to talk about their children, or they might not want you to bring up their past, even though you know about their past. There might be something in particular. There's got to be a boundary, and I think it's really important to bring that up when you're first talking to your guest, just so that everybody's clear and doesn't put them into an awkward situation. So keep in mind your audience, as I said, and think, what value is this question that I'm asking going to give my audience? Okay, so yes, it is to highlight your guest, but it's also, if you want people to watch your interviews, what value do I give my audience? Number 4, A good interviewer will interact with their guests, but give most of the microphone time to their guests. So if you watch we did an International Women's Day Summit in March this year, and I interviewed 44 women in business across 5 countries. We got 30,000 views in 48 hours. I'm pretty chuffed about that because people say Facebook doesn't work, but it does. You've just got to know how to use it and what it's looking for. And it really wants us to be using video, and particularly live video. So number 5, keep your interviews to about 15 minutes, maybe 30 minutes. But you can always do part 1 and part 2. I've seen this done really well too, where I'll go to a website or a YouTube channel, and if I really love it, I will go to the website and watch the first and second one. So, hello Tara, thank you for joining us. Marsha, what platforms? Okay, I'm going to share some resources after I finish my tips, but I will share what platforms you can use to do your interviews on. Thank you for your question. So if it is a Facebook Live or pre-recorded, you can still include your audience. So for example, when you're first coming on, if it's a Facebook Live, you can actually say hello to people. You don't want to be saying this the whole time. And in fact, I hear a lot of people go, that really drives me nuts when people spend 10 minutes saying welcome, hello, blah, blah, blah. People like to be acknowledged. I don't know about you. When I'm called out, when I'm watching a Facebook Live, I usually stay and watch it. And when I'm not, I'm like, oh, I've really got to get off and I've got to do something else. But for some reason, you're acknowledged and you feel compelled then to stay because they've called you out and they know you're watching them. So I know you're watching, ladies. Stick around if you want a gift. So yeah, ask your audience questions like, have you ever felt this way? Or what is your best tip? Or what is your best resources? Actually, I wouldn't say, have you ever felt like this? I mean, yes, it's easy for them to ask yes and no. And there's a thing here where people are on social media and they're not going to write you a big long paragraph and go, oh yes, I've had a illness, or actually they might because they want to talk about it and they want to have a platform and a voice, Marsha. So you might say to them, have you ever had health challenges? Let us know in the comments below, and or you might ask them, what natural treatments have you tried for your condition, and what is your condition, and ask them in the comments, because you just never know who's watching and who will get value out of that. Hello, beautiful Bernie. I wonder if our viewers have ever felt this way. Or you might say to your guest, it's really challenging being a mum in business, and I'm sure our viewers can relate to juggling kids and a business. What's your biggest obstacle? We'd love to know. Let us know in the comments below. So that includes your audience and makes them engage with you, because obviously if you've got comments on your Facebook Live especially, or any of your content, Facebook's going to see, oh, this is important. Your audience is enjoying this and wants more people to see this. So therefore it will just organically share it with more of your followers and fans. So I said before, number 7 was, if you're doing a Facebook Live with your iPhone, put your phone on landscape so it is side by side and not in portrait mode. Number 8, leverage your videos. Don't just do a video and pop it on social media and go, good, that's it. Great, I did it, I'm out there. It's going to build my profile and my brand. So you want to share it across all of your platforms, even if you are promote the interview beforehand with an image of you and your guest and the topic, time and location. Put that up on Facebook stories, your Instagram stories, put it in your feed, share it into groups, share it out onto your email database. As I said, encourage them to come and watch you live to get a gift from your guest, which is what I did the other day with Steve Brosman and his upcoming workshop on the Gold Coast, which is all about helping you to 10x your income and to really drill down on your offering and being able to articulate the outcome and the transformation. So if you want to know about that event, just put something in the comments below or send me a PM and I'll send you the link to the tickets. It's only $25. Steve Brosman is an amazing mentor, gives so much value. It's a 8:30 to 12:30, so a half-day workshop on the Gold Coast. Hello, Donna. Thank you for joining us. If you've got any questions about interviews, please leave them in the comments below, and I'll answer them for you. But yeah, please come along to that because it's incredible value. So make sure that you download your Facebook Live interview. And as I said, it's important for you to do this in Landscape so that when you download it, it is the right format for you to put up on YouTube and then embed into your website. You can embed a Facebook Live into your website, but given the fact that if you've got the right headlines, descriptions, and tags in your YouTube video, YouTube is still the second largest search engine. So we need to be embedding that into YouTube and then using that embed code into our website to put it in there. Then you want to take a screenshot of that interview and send it out with a little description in your email to your database, or share it in Facebook groups, as I said, with a link to watch the whole video on your website. So a lot of people just do the interviews and think that's it, but there's so much more you can do. And just remember, we can reshare content, right? If you're sitting there thinking, what am I going to share on Facebook today? I've got nothing to share, nothing to say. I don't have the energy to do anything. Hello, Neil. Thank you for joining us. Reshare one of your latest interviews. It wouldn't matter how long ago it was. Nobody cares. All they care is if it's got, value or if there's a benefit in there for them in the content. So I have shared number 9. Don't be afraid to ask in interview leaders. I think I jumped all over the place and shared this in the start, but for those who just are jumping on now, make sure you meet them, engage with them on social media before. Hello, Beth. Hello, beautiful. Share their content, and don't be afraid to ask the top industry leaders to be interviewed, because if you don't ask, you don't get. Hello, Susie. Number 10 was create a video test group. I've actually got 15 tips here because I got excited and kept writing. To get familiar with the technology, to get comfortable on camera. Go and ask your friends, your business contacts. Go out there. In fact, I think I'll create a thread in my 30-day video challenge for who wants to just interview each other and have that practice, because it's if you get comfortable being on camera, the more you do it, then you're putting out to the universe that yes, I'm open and I'm ready to be interviewed for podcasts, web TV shows, radio, whatever. And who knows, industry event organizers could see your interview and think, I want her to speak at my next event. Number 11. So I talked about this before. Send your questions in and ask them to fill out. Send in the answers. Make sure that they know their stuff and you know their stuff. It helps you get them back on track if they lose their train of thought or they, forget something. Number 12, confirm the date and time where and how the interview will be conducted. I don't know how many times I've gone onto online to go and interview people and they're like, oh, I forgot. I mean, that's pretty bad given, you put aside time to interview them, but we do get busy. Sometimes we do forget. Send them an email, send them a text message, send them a message in Messenger. Please confirm your appointment, your interview time. I've got a healer that I work with every month, Lisa Otaris from Caring Energetic Healer. She's fantastic with this sort of follow-up. She always sends me a message 24 hours to confirm and wants that confirmation back that, I'm ready for my session with her. It's professional as well. And, I don't just send an email with, here are my questions. I ask them to send me their bio, and also a professional photo so I can create the nice images leading up to their interview and form the video thumbnail after when I edit it and upload it to YouTube and my website. You also want to just create a really nice document. You can go to Canva, put your branding on it, with your website, your branding colors, your logo, your photo as well, and type out the questions nicely. It just looks so much more professional. If you want an interview template, I'll send it to you. I've also got email templates on how to invite people to an interview, because it's just much more professional than just an email going, hey, do you want to be interviewed on my podcast or my web TV show? So if you want those, please let me know and I can send them to you. I suggest, number 13, test your equipment. Make sure that your phone is fully charged. I have my phone plugged into the wall every time I do a Facebook Live, because the last thing you want to do, hello Lynn, thank you for joining us. The last thing you want to do is get on a Facebook Live and all of a sudden your battery goes low. Hello, Jane. Thank you for joining us. There is a speed test you can do. Go to speedtest.com or speedtest.net. I think it is. Just Google speed test. You can actually see what your speed for your internet is to make sure that it's fast enough for you to go live. And also, I've got a microphone here. Just test it. You've got a microphone. I'm going to share some resources that you need to have ready for your interviews as well in a minute. And make sure you've got good lighting. There's nothing worse. Audio is number one, okay? Make sure you've got a microphone. If you don't have I've got a little Rode lapel microphone. That doesn't work in interviews actually, because when I plug it into my mobile phone, I can't hear my guests. So I'd have to actually take that out. And I can use the earplugs that come with your mobile phone. Would love those interview questions. Okay, Em, I'll share them for you. You just put your earplugs from your mobile phone that has a built-in microphone, or you've got those little earbuds now that you can use as well. Audio is so important, but also visually. I don't want to see a video of you in the dark. People think, oh, this lighting's good enough, but really it's their thing of, I want to be seen, but I really don't want to be seen. So I've got a light, I've got an LED light. I usually just use a natural light, but I'm just got plain background. Don't worry about the fancy backgrounds. Everyone gets so caught up with, I'm going to buy a fancy expensive background, or I'm going to have all this, some flowers, and I'm going to have this for my branding. Like, nobody really gives a shit about any of that stuff. And I actually prefer to have a plain background. It's less stressful for me, but it also means you're listening to me and my content rather than going, what's that behind Mel? Oh, that's a nice picture. Or what's that in her background? So number 14 is come on 20 minutes before you're going to do your interview. So you can't really do this with a Facebook Live, but you could get on Zoom just to warm them up, or Skype, or you could get on the phone, or you could get in the video test group, but give yourself plenty of time to come on before, because there's nothing worse than getting on and then go, hang on a minute, I've just got to fix up my camera, and you're there trying to put it on the tripod, and it's portrait, and it's not supposed to be landscape. And look, technology does not go to plan a lot of the time. And even me, who's done many interviews, will come on and expect it's all going to go smoothly, and it just doesn't. Whether that's the other person can't get on with the link, or they don't know where to click for the Facebook Live, even though you've told them to. It's yes, Joan, I'll give you the link to the interview template. So I'll send a message to you in Messenger. So yeah, get on 20 minutes earlier, because if you're doing Facebook Lives, what I want you to know too is there's a delay now. So if you're saying that there's an interview or you're doing a video at 10 o'clock, Facebook will actually delay it because of what happened with the New Zealand massacre. They want to protect people. So also now they're changing where these videos are turning up on your business pages. So you've often got to go look for them. If you're on your computer, they're over on the side under videos. It can be a little bit tricky. So there's a few things that you can do is that, and I didn't do this with this particular interview, but generally speaking, I will create a Facebook event and I will invite people to that. Now, if you want to build an email database and you want to be smart about it, you'll either create a landing page on your website where people register to come to the interview to receive the tips, the recording, and your free gift from yourself or your guest. And then you'll start to build your email list as well. Because let's face it, fans and followers don't mean a thing. Emails don't mean a thing if you're actually not converting and not making any money. But that's another topic, another video. And number 15, have fun. So get on before. Make sure you're really comfortable with your guest and tell them you're just having a conversation with me. We're just having a little chat, just you and me. Okay, it might be going out to thousands of people all around the world, but you just want to put them at ease, okay? And a lot of people just say, look, we're just going to have a chat, or we're just going to have a conversation, or whatever it is. So I'm glad that you got value out of this. Thank you, Rosalind. Now, Wendy asked me how to do a Facebook Live. Now, as I said before, we need to get into a video test group. We need to press either where it says live button, or if you can't see that on your mobile phone or computer, it's often when you click on write something or update your status, and you'll have or more, and you'll have a drop down menu. You'll see the live button, and then you can go live. Now, I'm on my mobile phone right now, so I can't really. I think there is a way I can share my mobile phone screen recording if I had my laptop here. But basically there are some little pictures of people and little icons. I can click on them. I can then type in your name and send you an invitation to the broadcast. You will then get a notification up on your phone to accept the broadcast, and then you will come on camera. So if you go to Facebook Help is really good, and it gives you all of these instructions on how to use Facebook Live and anything to do with Facebook. Put your phone on Do Not Disturb so that if phone calls don't come through. I see so many people doing lives go, oops, sorry about that. Phone call came through. Put a sign up on your office door or at your front door saying, filming in place, do not knock. I've had to do that because we have a courier that comes to our front door nearly every day. My daughter gets all these free products sent to her. So, and you want to let the kids know, or whoever you're sharing the house with, that filming's taking place. Now, okay, some of the resources that I want to share with you, just a few, and I do share more of this in my 30-day video challenge and in the Videopreneur School, where I teach you how to 10x your income and attract high-paying quality clients that are your ideal clients with your own web TV show. So you can use Facebook Live for interviews. You can use your mobile phone and do face-to-face interviews. You can use a Canon camera. The problem with, I've gone and bought a Canon camera. The Canon camera saves your file as an MOV file, which is not suitable to upload straight to the internet. So then you need a program. We use Adobe Premiere, which is quite expensive, and save it as an MP4 file, right? Before you can then upload it. It needs to be compressed, and there's all this technical stuff which often turns people off doing videos because it just makes it too hard. So yes, you can do the Canon camera. You might upload it to Google Drive and just, I would say, outsource it to a videographer or a VA who can put a little intro on the front, your logo, and an outro, or how to go to your website and grab your free gift. And also transcribing, because 85% watch a video with the sound off. So it's really important to start transcribing your videos. Now, if I said before you are doing a long interview and then you go to promote it on social media again, just do the 1 to 3 minute grabs and put the text on. I use InShot. If you've seen my videos, I just use InShot. I have to type it in myself. I can get a VA to do it, but I actually quite enjoy sitting on the lounge with a cuppa. Literally takes me, for a 1 minute video, I can do that before I finish my cuppa because I've done it so many times. But yeah, you can put the transcription across there. So you can use your computer to do the interviews. You can get a Logitech 920, or there's one above that now, which is the latest model. It'll make your picture a lot crisper and a lot cleaner. The pixels are better quality. Not that you have to start with all of this, guys. Gary Vaynerchuk and Marie Forleo, who I always talk about in my examples, started their web TV shows just with their laptops. So did Melissa Groom, by the way, and her table was the ironing board. So I say just get started, and you can improve as you go. As I said, I've got the Canon camera, and I could do this Facebook Live even with that, but I just don't have the space at home right now to set that all up. But it'll come in time. So we've got the Facebook Live interviews. We've got the pre-recorded interviews using your camera or another camera or your laptop in person. Now there's a software program called BeLive.tv. They have a free trial. You can do 2 free ones. I suggest you go use that. Give it a try. You can put the questions above and the guest names. If you buy the pro one, obviously you can use your branding, your colors and your logo if you like that platform. I tend to use Zoom for my interviews, Zoom for my, I do weekly mentoring calls, one-on-ones, plus my group training in the Videopreneur School. And I also use it to do things like the International Women's Day Summit, where we have like a panel of experts or conference calls, all that sort of stuff. That allows you to Zoom straight into Facebook, doing a Zoom Facebook Live, or you can pre-record it, download it, get it all edited and branded. it's good and bad, you know, because some people just go, it's all too hard, costs money, I don't have the time, I don't have the resources. So depending on where you're at is what you'll choose. I'm sure there's other interview platforms you can use. If you use one and you love it, why don't you mention it below and share it with the others? So try and use your natural lighting. I've just got, I'm in quite a light room here, but as I said, I've got my LED light coming in this side of my face because I've got the light coming in that side of my face. And audio is so important. I'll put a link below to some top 10 microphones that you can use for your interviews and your videos. And a tripod, please. Or a selfie stick. You know, if you're walking along, I know we might be walking along, going for a walk, and we feel really compelled to do a Facebook Live. We don't always have a selfie stick in our back pocket. So what I suggest to you is use your two hands, this hand on this elbow, and prop this on your hip as a little lever, and then put your mobile phone in that, just so it's not all over the place. I just can't stand watching those Facebook Lives with them going all over the place. So anyway, they're my top 10 tips. My gift to you today, I will give you my template for an interview so you can see what to send out to people. I will also give you a template to invite guests to be interviewed. I have a huge range of resources that I give all of my clients in the Videopreneur School that I'm working with to 10x their income. But I also want to give you today my 30 video prompts that I've just created because video it's a tool for people to get to know, like, and trust us. And yes, it's great to share our knowledge and expertise, but I think it's great to share who we are, what we love, why we do what we do, what makes us tick. So my 30 video prompts are for you to slip into your content as well as sharing your knowledge and expertise. And it's things like, what's your favorite quote? You know, what gets you out of bed each day? You know, sharing a client success story. All of those things that you might not have thought of, because I know one of the things that stop people from getting in front of the camera is they just run out of content. And if you work with me, you'll never run out of content because I can give you hundreds of ideas, of content ideas. So my advice to you, if you want to build your profile, you want to build your brand, you want to attract more clients, is to use video and use it consistently. And you know what? You're going to be consistent if you have a coach and a mentor, because if you don't, you're not going to do it when you don't feel like it. Why should you? No one's going to call you out on it. But if you invest in a mentor, then you're more likely going to follow through. So if you want to book a free call with me, just a complimentary chat, just to have a chat about your business and where you are striving to get to, which is all to, you know, be of service, grow our audience, you know, build our income, monetize our knowledge and expertise, automate our business, then I'll put a link down below to book a free call with me. But thank you everyone for joining us and your feedback. And are you recording this and loading it to YouTube later so I can watch it again? Oh, you're beautiful. Just so you know, Facebook Lives don't disappear. That is the beauty of this. But yes, I will be downloading this and putting it up on my YouTube channel as well as my website. So thank you everyone for tuning in, and I will see you next time. If you've got any questions about video, please send them through to me and I'd love to answer them for you on my next Q&A. See you later. Have an amazing day. And remember to shine bright because the world needs you. Mwah. See you later.